April is National Alcohol Awareness Month, and as our next guest learned, awareness leads to recovery.
After more than a decade without drugs or alcohol, her story from addiction to sobriety is now available in Can't Keep a Sober Girl Down. Joining us this morning is recovery activist and local author, Leone Murphy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Welcome.
What an important message to get out.
Definitely.
So many people struggle with being an alcoholic, and you were there, and then now you've gone through so much to go through recovery. Why don't you take us back to the very beginning? Tell us your story. When did you start drinking?
I was 8 years old. It was given to me in a pink plastic cup, just a little bit of beer, you know? And it's interesting because I had an obsession with it at a young age of not ever wanting to have it. And then when I was given it, it turned on me. Then I wanted more of it and more of it. So
was it because it was around you? Did you grow up in a family where that was, I mean, maybe the reason why you didn't want anything to do with it was maybe you were seeing not so good things that resulted as of drinking alcohol?
Yes, absolutely. I saw a lot of adults in outside of the family, not just my family, but in friends and family, friends' families that were experiencing like alternate mood shifts because of alcohol. So it was a little scary. Absolutely.
What was your turning point? What was that moment that made you say things have to change?
Well, I believe it was divine for me. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd been drinking for 10 hours and I should have been blacked out or passed out. And then all of a sudden my selfishness and self-centeredness throughout the years, not all of it, because there was a lot of it, flashed in front of my eyes. And I was like, whoa, I need help.
How old were you then?
I was 24.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, 24, some people go for probably a couple of decades after that. Before, and so I would say that in general, you kind of got that message early on, and you obviously are passionate about recovery, and that's made you an activist for getting the word out that this is a conversation that we don't talk about enough. And why do you think that it's given this idea that it's kind of boring to talk about, or I don't know, not a sexy subject?
Right. Well, I think the idea of fun is really linked to alcohol. I mean, for me it was bars and parties and nightclubs and flashy lights, and so I always thought alcohol was fun.
Right.
You know, and that was for me a delusion because it didn't work for me. So I think that getting the message out and breaking the stigma that a sober life is not a boring life with the book Can't Keep a Sober Girl Down is very important.
Give us some examples. What do people hear in your book that I'm curious, you know, okay, it's not boring. You can still have fun. Talk about what you share in your book.
Right. Well, a lot of it is a spiritual life. Like I'm really, if anything, I'm kind of addicted to that nowadays, like miracles and transformations in other people's lives. I'm more interested in other people's lives, I feel like sometimes more than my own. And I think it's a good thing to, you know, and then pay it forward. I still do everything except for not the crazy chaotic so much stuff that I used to do while drinking. I do that sober. I dance, I go to events, I go to parties. I don't, you know, put myself in a box and say, I can't go there because there's alcohol there, you know?
And sometimes people maybe feel uncomfortable around somebody if they're drinking and partying, and there's somebody who's not, you know, imbibing along with them.
Right.
I know plenty of people in my family have had addiction problems. It's been an open conversation since I was a teenager, and it seems that the people that I found that have been the most successful are people that are involved, that continue to either you know, connect with people while through their sobriety, that they continue to go to meetings, and that there's something about continuing that message and conversation that keeps people, you know, keeps people being sober.
Right. It's kind of like the old cliche, you are who you hang with, sort of in a way. You know, like I don't like the cliches of life, but I'm finding out as I get older that they're kind of true. So I think unity is really important. And again, like not secluding myself, but also having to unite with people that are sober is so vital because this is a fatal disease. It's serious.
And life as an activist, it has taken you around the country to share your message. What do you want people to take away from this? You're trying to change lives here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I personally can change a life, but I can inspire somebody to go and find that power within. And actually prayer I believe in, faith I believe in, and finding something greater than yourself to, you know, bring a message and pay it forward and unite inside of paying it forward, I think is really important.
Just out of curiosity, faith, I'm a big believer in that world also. Did you find that before or after you turned your life around?
Well, it's funny. Thank you for asking. That's a great question, because I actually had a lot of faith when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then it dissipated as my alcoholism progressed. And when I say alcoholism, I mean selfishness and self-centeredness, delusion and fear and self-pity. And that's what I believe as an alcoholic, that's where I was. Now, alcoholism doesn't always mean addicted to alcohol. There's more to it than just that.
For sure.
And when I found that out, I was like, whoa. So then it returned me back to my faith inside of prayer. Like, I didn't believe in miracles when I got sober. And then I heard all these stories of people who believed in miracles, and I thought they were bizarre and weird, and I had all these judgments. And then I saw them come into fruition in their lives, and then in my own.
Yeah. And now you're sharing
Well,
it with the
Amber,
world.
thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank
Amber
you.
Leone Murphy. Can't keep a sober girl down. Obviously not.
Not at all. Thank you, Amber.
Your book is available online and in bookstores.
Yes.